So we have a question here. The guy asked, Harry, what should happen after the first date? Should she text or I text? How much time should pass by? I had this chick come out to my area about 40 minutes away. Oh, that's far. But I think I bombarded her with a bunch of negative topics. I would love to know examples of what some of those topics were so we could see like what they possibly were and see how we could help you with that. He says, also a month ago, she was dumped by this Chad guy. So not sure if she's still over him. I'll be honest. I have found that if you're a confident enough guy, that stuff doesn't matter. Like I've literally dated women who just came out of relationships and within 3 months, I was in a relationship with them. Why? Because here's the thing. Here's the secret, guys. And I think I've said this on the show before, but here's the secret, right? Is that you as the guy should not be seeking a relationship in the first place. Now it's a weird thing because like you're like, but I'm dating her. Aren't I dating her to try to get into a relationship? And the answer is no. You are dating her to do research to see if she's worthy enough of a relationship. So when she comes to you asking for a relationship, you'll have your mind made up about whether or not you want to do that or not. But you as the guy should not be seeking out a relationship. You should be, at the most, you should be seeking out having a good time with her and possibly having hookups with her, but leave the emotional weight of, is this a relationship? And I should say feelings, leave that to her. As long as you consistently show up for her in a similar way, and that allows her to build trust, then you are good. So in terms of your question about what should happen after the first date, my typical stance is this. You go on a first date, you have a great time with her. At the end of the date, you hug her and say, hey, I had a great time. You do not speak future speak, meaning you don't say things like, we should do this again. Oh, I hope to see you soon. I'm going to text you later. Do not give future speak. This is one of those things that it's a small tweak in your dating game, but it's one of those things that's going to leave what I call leaving mystery in a positive way. See, a lot of guys have this thing where it's like, you know, bad boys succeed because women don't know their moves. And so you can, as a so-called nice or good guy, you can take that same tactic, but do it in a positive way. Like if you took her out and you had a good time, right? You know you're going to contact her. That does not mean in this moment that she needs to know that, because she, as part of her attraction process, needs to go home, think about you, reminisce about the date, and start anticipating when she's going to hear from you again. And that process of anticipation for women is so powerful and will cause them of their own accord to build stronger feelings for you in a shorter amount of time, more so than if you were that guy that was trying to text her right after the date. And you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the guy that goes home, hey, I had a good time on the date. Hey, hope you had a good time too. Oh my God, I'm gonna hit you. Like, don't be that guy. Those guys, more often than not, end up losing her feelings relatively fast. So after the date, say you had a good time, you go home. I say wait a minimum of 4 days. I've heard other coaches say wait 5 to 9 days. I say at the minimum do 4 if you can press it. But yeah, wait a few days before you hit her up again for another date. And that also allows you to test out her temperament, because women that have a good head on their shoulders will make the understanding in their head like, oh, he was probably busy. Maybe he went out with other girls, but that's fine because we're just early in the process. But I'm just glad he's hitting me up again. Girls that are like, why didn't you text me? You're blah, 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 blah. Those girls would have been a headache to date. And it's good that you found that out early, you know? So hopefully that helps you out. Let's see what he said. He said, this is the things that he brought up. He said he brought up politics, bad exes, and I arrived late. So I will say this, all of those things for a first date are no bueno. Politics, it's very, very dicey. That's one of those things where you kind of want to figure out where she is on the political spectrum first before you bring in your viewpoints on things, because even though, like, once you become like the boyfriend and she has strong feelings for you, if you just happen to have different views, it's not going to be as detrimental to her attraction process for you as it is if you mention it like on the first couple of dates, you know? As for exes, I have a no talk about exes policy on all dates. And even if she asks, so tell me about some of your exes or tell me about your last relationship or what happened with that, I keep things very vague and I'm not going to say anything bad about them. So I might say something like, oh, she was a great person, but just for whatever reason, it didn't work out ultimately, but that's fine because I'm out here with you now and I want to see what this is about. Now, why is it that I say, though, that you shouldn't talk about exes? Here's the thing that guys don't understand is that women aren't taking conversations literally. They're always looking for underlying meanings, and they're looking for what your actions are going to possibly mean for you and her dating in the future, right? Or if you guys happen to break up. So if she's on a date with you and you're talking all this crap about your exes, All she now knows is that if you two don't work out, you're going to talk crap about her. And we don't want women getting the impression that you're going to potentially badmouth her to future women or future people that you date should you guys not work out. So that's why if you do happen to talk about an ex, it's when she brings it up only, and also you keep it in very vague yet somewhat positive terms, because we want her to think, okay, so he's kind of even keel. So if this doesn't work out, he's not going to fly off the handle. He's not going to try to blame me for everything. He's not going to talk badly about me behind my back. Like, that's the impression you want to give a woman. And that's going to allow her to think, okay, I can really start to build something with this guy because he seems pretty even keel. So never bring those things off. And I don't care. He says, ultimately, I feel I vented with her in the date. Here's the thing, guy. Yes, women will do you bad, and you're going to want to have an outlet to talk about that. Save it for your guy friends. Save it for your family members. Save it for women that are possibly already in your friend group, but do not bring this to new women, because new women don't know you. They don't care. And quite honestly, if they've had their own bad experiences with men in dating, they're going to think that you're a liar. They're going to think that this guy, he's telling me all this crap about his ex, but he probably like did something instead. He's just not telling me. So you don't give her a good impression in any way, shape, or form when you're talking about exes. So I don't care how hurt you are. You don't want to display that hurt to her. That's one of those things that, again, once you're in a relationship, then if she asks you about your ex, you can go a bit deeper into the story, but do not do that. Even if she is talking bad about her exes, don't fall for it, because women will do this thing. Well, they'll bring up a thing like, yeah, my ex was this and that, and they're doing that to see if you're going to do the same thing and then bring up and start talking bad about your ex also. So you have to be the one, you're as the guy on dates, you are ultimately the one that is leading this conversation. You're the one that's asking certain questions to get to know her. You're the one that's deciding what things to pick and choose to tell her about your life. You're in control of all that stuff. If you decide to use that control to complain about other people that aren't even there, that's not going to be a good look for you, and it's going to give her like the ick vibe. So try to stay away from that. And hey, it's a learning lesson. I did this stuff early on too. I get it. So this is why I had this whole program and this whole like show, because I was making all the mistakes you guys talk about, you bring to me. I have made these at some capacity. I started dating when I was like 13, 14 years old, and I had a lot of hiccups. I had a lot of situations. I've been through the gamut. So don't beat yourself up. Screwing up again. If you start looking at dating less like it's either a win or lose and look at it more like it's just lessons, then you will beat yourself up less when you do these kind of things. Like, oh, okay, you just learned. Okay, check mark. Don't talk about the ex anymore. I learned that. On to the next. Or if she gives you another shot because she says she's looking at your stories, then it means, okay, and you can probably like ask her out again and just know not to make those mistakes. The fact that she's looking at your stories, it's not the worst thing in the world. Again, I don't really like to read on like how much woman's texting me, how often she's on my social media. I don't even become, honestly, when I'm first dating a woman, I do not become a woman's friend on any social media platform until we're in a relationship. I mean, if she goes to me and says, hey, it's been our third or fourth date, and I tried to add you to my friends group on Facebook, my response is, yeah, I know, like, but real talk, like, I don't typically tend to add people until we're in a relationship, because I don't want to have to go through the process of embarrassing both of us should this not work out, and I got to now delete you from the thing. So let's just wait and see where this goes. And I have found most women are surprisingly reasonable and cool with that. Like, because again, women understand the dating process a lot better than men. And what they understand about it is that both parties are there to try to prove to the other party that they deserve certain perks. So women understand that being friends with me on social media is a perk. And in order to get that perk, they need to build up my interest and see to it that we get to that finish line of a relationship before that happens. And that is the boundary that I set. If they don't like it, good, and they complain about it, then good. I can get rid of them, because that lets me know that they are not patient and they are all about just getting what they want. And I don't want to get that kind of woman. So this is like, in terms of my dating life, like I look at it as this, that at the end of the day, I'm in control of what's going on. And if she doesn't like the things that I'm putting out there that I say I need in order for me to function in a relationship, then I can find somebody else. I think the problem most guys have is they don't have the feeling that they can find anybody else. I've just learned, maybe it's because I'm 41, about to turn 42, but I've just learned that like, if one woman doesn't work out, inevitably another one will come by. And especially as you get older, when women start to actually get less and less options, then it really becomes the game of like, oh, I really do. Because like, as women get older, some women can date younger, but on average, most women are still trying to date older. So like a 35-year-old might be trying to date me at 41, but I can date down to like 21, 22. Whether society judges it or not is a different story, but I have that ability, and most women are also, the women that are that age are totally fine with that, you know? So it really becomes a thing of like, you have to start opening your eyes to the idea that you have an abundance of women out there to choose from. And that will allow you to be more patient in your dating game. It'll allow you to vet a little bit more. It'll cause you to not rush so quickly into the bedroom or trying to rush so quickly into a relationship. And part of the reason we try to rush into a relationship is because we're not confident enough that we're actually good for them. And we figure the best way to prove to ourselves that they think we're good enough is for them to say yes to a relationship. But women work at a slower pace. So you always have to look at, okay, yes, you're in control of it, but if you understand the most comfortable pacing for women, then if you date at that pace, you'll find you won't have to reach out so much, because if you're going slightly slower than the woman, she's going to be reaching out to you to figure out the relationship. She's going to be telling you about her feelings first. She's going to be trying to call you up to get dates. And as I always say, if she's chasing you, she can't be replacing you. So hopefully some of that helps you out.
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high class man. You a high class man. You a high earning,